There we go. Nice. Very nice. All right. So, how's everybody's week been? You know, just a little pre-game banter.
No, we're in the recording. No talking about our week.
Uh-huh.
My week was amazing. It was so cool. I did so many awesome things, and yeah.
Yeah, I heard you cured cancer. Is that true, or did you know?
Yeah. And I was actually just the other day I was out doing like really intense surfing in Hawaii. Like I was doing like backflips and stuff. Like Surf's Up, the movie. I was like that, but even cooler. And there was like a flamingo too. It was really cool.
Now, was that before or after you brought peace to the Middle East?
That was after. It was like my nice break after that. And it was pretty easy doing the first thing anyway, so I didn't really need a break, but
yeah, I gotcha. That's going to really date this episode, you know, if you're watching in the future, but it's whatever.
It's all right. I'll bring war back to the Middle East right after this.
See, this is why we keep Cameron locked up in a basement with a bunch of files.
Well, the way we can't get data, they don't know how far back this episode will be recorded.
That way, he can't go and ruin more lives. So just remember, I'm the good one. He's the bad one. Vote for me.
I like to imagine that there's going to be an election sometime in the future that somehow involves you and Cameron going against each other, which wouldn't make any sense. Well, I guess. Wait, Cameron, do you have dual citizenship, or you just have Canadian?
Just Canadian.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't think there's anything you two could run against each other for then, unless it's something small like I don't know, president of your local book club or something like that,
or something really big like the UN.
That's true.
Or something really cool like this campaign.
Yes, that's also true.
I just vote for me. I don't know what.
No. That'd be a funny way to have toward the end of the campaign is who gets to be the biggest cool guy in the room is just like who's awarded king of all creation and time and whatnot is have all the fans vote in like it was a thing of what's the word?
Well, the count's already settled. It's going to be Ebb.
Yeah,
that's a rigged.
Not if we get Ebb first.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to get Ebb. You can get Ebb. I'm not getting Ebb.
We should get Ebb.
That is the thing, is that if you kill Ebb to try and take her out of the running, that immediately hamstrings you for the race against the other. So it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah.
You'd both have to agree to do it immediately. But here, I'll stop stalling for time. For the most part, we left off where you guys were kind of going down the stairs and were leaving the Sapphire Isle. And the priest Amma, Captain Grima was going with you guys, deciding that he wanted to have one last adventure to end on a high note. Zin and Atham had what amounted to basically a YouTube comment debate about religion, I think, kind of. I don't know if that's exactly what you'd qualify it as, or classify it as. But yeah, there was a mild debate about afterlives and when is a good time to go, the meaning of death. Very briefly, Zin and Atham didn't give a shit. On brand. And then you guys were starting to set off. So we'll kind of go setting the scene, back to the clouds over the water. It is becoming, I believe it was the evening when we were setting out. And you guys were seeing some smoke in the horizon. We're going to have you guys, people are throwing up the lines. Grima is doing some last minute checks, battening down the hatches, et cetera, et cetera. And you all are preparing to get off the island, and you shove off, starting to work your way out into the rough waters. The boat suddenly, from the calm inlet that you're in, from inside this Sapphire Isle, starts shaking a little bit as soon as it touches, or as soon as it gets around the corner and touches the more violent water of the actual ocean. And you guys start making your way as dictated by Al-Karab, who is the navigator to Grimma's captain, and is pointing you in the direction directly toward the smokestack that is currently billowing, or just clouded line of smoke, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, what do you guys think? It's you start to go off, and behind you, for those who are looking back, you notice that as you get a little bit away from the Sapphire Isle, the isle starts to shimmer a little bit, and it's hard to tell in the lighting as the lighting goes down, but the sparkling off the sapphires gets brighter and brighter until you're no longer able to see the isle. It's hard to tell if it's just gone or it's just blocked from view now, and the light is jumping off the waves and kind of not letting you see, but it's no longer in view in one way or the other. What do you think everybody is doing after all of this? It's a little bit like the sea is a little rough. Grimma and Al-Karab are doing their best, but it is a bit off before you guys get to whatever that is, if you're going to even stop there, because it's just on the way. You might not be something you even need to stop off for.
I'm still like really ignoring Atham.
You're just on opposite ends of the boat, not doing much.
Yeah,
like,
so you
even
do
if he tried to talk to me, I'm just walking away, or I'm not listening.
Atham's not engaging.
Yeah, but that's like the extent of
his anger right now.
His pissed off at Atham for being like a bitch boy.
You would say that. So you would say that there would be a certain amount of animosity, perhaps.
Deep animosity.
A certain depth, would you say? Yes. Okay.
An extreme depth of animosity.
Of course. Callbacks. So Atham, you said similar to you. You're kind of not engaging, letting Zin cool off. Understandable. Al-Karab, what do you think you're kind of thinking about right now? Because you didn't exactly have a conversation to. Well, I mean, you did have a conversation, but you didn't really have a immediate emotional heart to heart, quote unquote, soul to soul, whatever you want to call it. So, what do you think is immediately on Al-Karab's mind, if anything?
How rough are the seas? You said they were a little bit rough. He's probably focused partially on helping to navigate, and then probably a little bit on like avoiding seasickness a little bit.
Okay. So the seas are like they're not dangerous right now, but they are making both you and Grimma's job a little bit difficult. Grimma's keeping it professional. He's saying, adjusting 3 degrees left, or starboard,
or
port, sorry. And he's keeping it down this way. He's like, all right, make sure we've got a line out, keeping the sail slightly adjusted, giving slight adjustments based on your coordinates. Current is moving at a speed of this amount of knots at this direction, kind of just, you guys are a team, you're synergized, going back and forth with everything. And the ship is for all of its aches and pains that it is letting you know about as it kind of goes into this rough sea. It is staying the course. So Zin, I want you to think, speaking of motion sickness or seasickness, I'm assuming Atham's got his sea legs. Zin, have you been on a lot of ships, would you say, in your lifetime?
No, I think he's probably a little bit seasick. I wouldn't be surprised if he was. He's not like I mean, he's probably just like, I don't know where everyone is. He's just holding on to something, kind of like trying not to throw up or get too sick, but he's also trying not to show people that he's feeling a little bit queasy.
I was gonna say, yeah, I can imagine that as the journey starts, Sin is angry, is in a brooding mood, and slowly that kind of sour expression is sour from not 100% anger, and then the percent of it being sour from indigestion and seasickness starts to go up a little bit, take up from 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%. And your face starts to look a little sour as well, a little green in the face there, green in the gills, as you might put it.
No, I don't have gills.
Is it?
Oh my god, I hate all of you. Zin, so I was gonna say, the sea breeze is helping you a little bit. Standing still is not. So, walking around might help a little. Either that, or you can make a con saving throw.
Can I not just like sit down? Would that not help?
You could sit down if you would like as well.
I feel like that whenever I like in real life gets seasick, that's what I do. I just sit down.
Mm-hmm. There's some crates and old like casks and barrels that you are kind of like right under the helm that you can go and sit on that are kind of at the back. There's not really much at the front of the ship where you are at the moment.
I feel like this is a bad idea the way that William is looking at me. He's like, he's a boat expert, so he's probably like, this is stupid. You're just gonna get more sick.
Well, actually, I was gonna ask, is it just the 4 of us on the boat?
I don't know. Is it? Dun dun dun. No.
Yeah.
it's the 4 of you on the boat for the most part. Yes.
So then we probably need Atham and Zin to help make boat go.
I mean, realistically,
It's fine.
yeah, I guess Grimma's going to yell out to Zen, and he's going to be like, "Lad, I need you to hold down the sail line over there," and saying it's starting to come loose. Do you know you're nuts?
Sure.
He's going to
He
point.
probably knows. He probably does know. I feel like it's something he might learn. Combat.
Yeah, I mean, nuts. Went through basically like religious Boy Scout stuff, so might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Learn that.
Yeah.
So he's going to point you to a line as he briefly takes his hand off the helm to one that's like he needs to better hold the sails in the right place. Will, please don't kill me if I'm getting some of this stuff wrong. I don't really know my sailboat lore, quote unquote. So yeah, so what he points you over there, and then what do you do?
I tie the thing. I feel like Sid knows how to tie stuff, but he doesn't really remember any names or any specialties, and he's just doing it tight and well.
All right, give me a survival check real quick.
Oh god. Sailboat roleplay, my favorite. Thank you, William.
You're welcome.
What does that say? Oh, my survival's pretty good. Okay, 14. I rolled badly.
It's not that bad. So yeah, you're able to tie down the knot properly. It is fixed. Probably not like the standard for whatever a sailor would do, but it services quite well. I don't know, Alcarab, do you want to survey the ship and see if there's anything going wrong that Alcarab would know about?
Alcarab probably doesn't know a whole lot about ships, but he can survey the ship anyway.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't we look through our eyes? Help me out here, man. I'm trying to look with our eyes, our special eyes. Look, you gotta help me look through your character's eyes and help me out here, Will. I don't know enough ship stuff to go with what you're talking about here. The sailboat role play.
What type of boat is it that we're on?
We went over this. It was a what's it
schooner?
called?
A sloop?
A sloop, I believe. Yeah, I think so.
Triangle sail and a jib.
Yeah.
One mastered. So yeah, I think it's a sloop.
Yeah.
In which case, we'd need someone to deal with the mainsail and the jib. So Alcarab's probably gonna, I don't know, get Zin's doing whatever knot tying he's doing in the corner. So I guess I'll call to Atham, be like, Atham, are you otherwise occupied?
No. Where do you need me to be?
Can you go to the mainsail? I don't want to actually describe this because can you go to the mainsail, the main sheet there, and he points to some line, and just do what Captain Grima tells you to.
You're gonna make me describe it? You son of a bitch! You sold me out. You sold me up the river.
Captain Grima's the one driving the boat. He's the one who issues the commands.
Yeah, but you guys are a team. You're like a driving team right now. You need to do this. Oh
Maybe,
God!
But you
All
can't.
right. Well,
Captain Grimm is the only one who can anticipate his own thoughts, so it's his responsibility to articulate what he's going to do with the ship so that his crew can adjust accordingly.
oh my God, you're a sick man.
I mean, if no adjustments need to be made, just say carry on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could just say. Oh my God! All right. Well, Captain Grimm is going to point you over to the I guess the jib is what we were saying needed attention.
Yes, the sort of light other sail in front of the mainsail.
Yeah. So he's going to just say, it feels like it's. I guess it's. You said somebody needs to hold the jib. Oh God! All right. Well, yeah. You know what? The jib's coming loose. We need you to hold it in place with whatever you can over there.
Usually there's a cleat that'll hold it in place, but you've got to tie the cleat. And then if you ever adjust the boat, you've got to adjust both the sails on the cleat so that they're at the right angle to go.
All right. Try and match what Zin did with the jib there. We need to make sure they're both adjusted properly to be in sync.
There we go. Make enough sense? Yes, I think that's accurate enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Poor Sean.
Yeah, I'm halfway to a fucking marlin jumping out of the water and skewering Alcarab in the skull right now.
Well, then who would you have to give direction?
I'd be like, I'd just say, Will, re-roll as a marlin sailor. You're gonna play now as the marlin that killed Alcarab. Good luck. Your one thing is you have expertise in sailing. That's your only character trait. You can do anything else.
Skewers Alcarab, grows legs, starts issuing commands.
So he possesses Alcarab. Comes to be like, damn, this marlin knows what he's doing.
Huh.
You're a maverick son of a bitch, Marlon Brando, but you know what you're doing.
Based Marlon moment.
Also, this is all gold. You guys should be quoting this in quote of the day. Oh, there we go. There's a picture of it. Thank you. All right. So yeah. So Atham, why don't you give me a roll on the jib there?
What role would that be? There is a piloting skill. Yeah.
We're not introducing the whole Star Wars 5e piloting stuff in here.
It's not. It's main game. I'm gonna roll.
How about this, Sean? If this is too complicated, we could just skip this.
No, we're doing. Well, you guys entered this
every aspect.
Yeah, for most tools, it's intelligence plus proficiency. So I think piloting vehicles is the same, unless I'm misremembering.
I mean, you could also just do survival. I think survival works well enough. You can either one.
I will choose the one that is intelligence because that is my higher stat.
I don't know if you would have expertise in piloting skill though, or whatever it is, or proficiency. Are you just doing proficiency?
Never mind. All right, I'll just roll.
No, I'm asking you. You can tell it's intelligence plus proficiency for
22.
Piloting, right?
Doesn't matter. I rolled high. 22.
No, we're gonna stop here for a second.
Oh my God!
No,
I can give myself proficiency in things. Remember?
Yeah, I know, but doesn't that? Never mind.
You asked. Anyways, I rolled a 22 without proficiency.
Yeah, but don't you have to choose that after every long rest?
Oh.
No. All right. Well, fine. Either way, that works out fine. You match Zin. Which, Zin, are you pissed to be nearing Atham again or no?
I'm a little pissed. But I mean, what the frick am I supposed to do? I did my thing, so I can just walk away, right? I can just walk away from Atham. These cooties.
You can. By the way, what did you name the ship again? Can you remind us all?
I said it in one of the recordings, but I don't know if it's posted. I can't remember.
It's not. I don't
not.
even have the recording.
Yeah, what's his name? Max has got to get on that. But we'll get to that later. We still got to do all the Scarthorn stuff. Regardless, you guys are kind of back on course now correctly. There's a moment of silence as the waves kind of crash against the hull. And the ship is still sailing at a good speed on the correct course. For the moment, the wind and the current seem to die down a little bit, and it seems to go peaceful. And the stars come out, and there's just a bunch of glittering jewels across the water. As you all kind of are able to relax for a second, as the ship doesn't seem to be tossing you every which way.
Oh thank gosh. Sin was good. Sin was probably not doing so well after a bit.
Yeah, so you can now that you're sitting down, your sickness is going away. For the most part, I would say that, I mean, yeah, Atham's got his sea legs. I guess Alcarab, I mean, like, you weren't getting sick at all. I was assuming that you were kind of sitting down almost next to Grima with a bunch of your sheets and maps and charts, kind of doing some work on the navigating, or do you think otherwise? Was he standing up? Was he getting sick at all?
He probably. I don't think Alcarab is the most experienced guy when it comes to boats. So I imagine he wouldn't get severely seasick, but he probably, like, I don't know how car sick you guys get, but for me, like, if I read in the back left or back center seat of a car for like over an hour, I start to feel a little bit like nauseous, but not like super much. Sort of like that, where like he's sitting and he's doing his map and star stuff, and like navigating and stuff. And after a while, it's like uncomfortable, but not like actively debilitating.
Oh yeah, I have that too a little bit myself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's this quiet moment now, and you're still a bit off from the smoke. Grima's going to take a second and just say, I might be piloting the ship here, but I'm not going to assume to be in command or anything like that. Do you have a protocol depending on what we find is causing the smoke? Are we ignoring it? Are we going past it? We're going to try and investigate it all. Do we have a certain criteria to meet if we will investigate it?
Who's he asking this to?
Pretty much everybody.
If it's on the way, it might be worth checking out.
I mean, if it's not important to our destination, then I don't think it's worth doing with, unless it proves a threat. But other than that, I feel like, again, time is of the essence.
Yeah, time is of the essence. If it doesn't look interesting, we should keep going on.
Zin's gonna scowl at Atham stealing his little phrase there that he just said. He just
Atham doesn't look over.
Okay. Well, as the kind of awkward silence between you two, carries on, Grima is going to change the subject, and he's going to say, well, at the very least, I have a new lease on life, which is nice. So tell me about this church you have, Mr. Zin. I have to say that, now that I know that I can kind of shop around a little bit for afterlives, I want to make sure I get the right one. Thinking of it over, I've never really thought about where I would go. So much, focused for so long on my crew. So, you know, would what's Church of Purity? Is it?
Yeah. It's the best church, if you ask me.
Oh, okay. Definitely, sounding interesting. So let's say, at the end of my journey here, I'm about to pass on. I have a choice. I'm at a crossroads in the afterlife, so to speak. And I want to go with the Church of Purity path. A, what do I have to do to get there? And B, what am I expecting? What be the greener grass on this side of the theological fence?
I don't even know how to answer this. This is a lot. This is me as some saying this. What the? Okay.
You can keep it like relatively simple if just lead a good life or something. You don't have to go too deep into specifics if you don't want to, but
Yeah,
I imagine
I'm trying to think.
you can bullshit a little bit here, right?
Yeah, I can bullshit a little bit. Max, cut that out. I'm not bullshitting, I swear. Well, I mean, the angels are the divine protectors of PRC by, above all other entities and fake gods. So honestly, just lead the remainder of your life in a decent manner, in a way that isn't harmful or bad. You do your, prayers or stuff about the church and respect it. You'll be fine to go. Even I could personally help you if you even wanted to. It's part of my job. I'm not a stranger to sending souls off. Done it a few times. Because I'm cool like that.
Yeah, very impressive, Sir Zen. I have to say that much.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, personally, I've never died, so I don't really know what happens afterwards. But from what I know, at least, I don't have like all the experience. But I mean, the angels will protect you, live on with their grace and their, their cool. Yeah, it'll just be cooler. It's better than everyone else.
Very, very tempting. And more. What was that? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, sir.
Just more powerful, better things, more souls. The angels are loving beings and would never do anything. Would never do anything to hurt a single soul of their children on this earth. I'm gonna glare at Atha really quickly. And that's it. I don't know.
Captain Grimm is gonna stroke his beard a bit and say, very intriguing. Definitely better than what I was planning for, which was just sleeping in a coffin for all time. After this few centuries I've already done it, just kind of got comfortable, and I just, as long as I didn't have to deal with any of the crazy stuff that was happening in this ocean, I thought it would be good enough. So now that I know I have options, it definitely doesn't sound too bad being with the angels. And I've seen your power; it's pretty powerful. You do seem like you know what you're doing with that glaive.
Yes, I do.
It's no cutlass, but it's definitely it's got a quite a bite. He's gonna go look over at Atham and Alcrab, and he's gonna say, well, speaking of, do you two gents have any sort of input, any sort of different worldview, or I guess ethereal view, if you will?
Can I use intimidation to make them not say anything? Just like an aura of intimidation.
You can try, I guess. I'm not going to guarantee that that's going to work. I'll let them decide if the aura is enough to intimidate them, which it could be. But if you want to roll for it, go ahead.
Heck yeah. Okay. Where's my special ability with that? Conquering presence is like frightening, but I could. Yeah, I'll do some intimidation shit. Why not? Just because I have that like conquering presence.
You're gonna use conquering presence. Okay.
Well, conquering presence is I'm not gonna use that, but I have that aura because I don't want.
Mhm.
It's a DC. It's a wisdom saving throw, and I don't want Atham of Pain. So I got I rolled for intimidation, which is a 25.
I'll let them. Yeah, Alcrab and Atham. You can be the determiners if you think a 25 is enough to intimidate you from backing off the question there.
Atham's face screws up in anger for a second. I'm not interested in an argument right now.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of differing worldviews. You can like take your pick, really. There are a lot.
Well, it's not so much an argument I'm after. It's more of just I am going off to the next world soon, as plain to see, and I just want to be best informed on that such a endeavor. I mean, I don't think that I mean, we could all talk as civilized gentlemen, correct?
Sure.
Zin, I mean, you wouldn't deny an old skeleton the ability to know what's best for him before his eternal rest, would you?
I'm not denying anything. I mean, I know what's best, and it's the angels. Atham's a little too cynical for advice on any of these topics. I'll warn you.
Hmm. Well, without insulting Sir Zin, I do believe it's best to visit every port before making a map, as they say. With that being said, I mean, do you subscribe to a religion, sir? Or do you? I haven't seen you much talk about it as much as Zin over here. Um,
Is he asking Atham or Alcarab this?
Atham at the moment.
No.
He hates divinity. He thinks he's better than it.
Well, to be fair, there were a couple centuries I had in my insanity time when I did. I felt the same, and then there was a couple of centuries during my sane time when I also felt the same. It's kind of hard not to hate divinity when you're floating around as a mortal skeleton, wondering why you've been forsaken. But after a while, I just don't think anyone was listening, except for the people who gave me this. And he points to his skeletons. But, and I have to admit, I've taken if you'll forgive the straightforwardness of it, the Atham approach to it, where I've just not expected anything and just wanted it to end, perhaps, if that's what you mean by lack of divinity. Could be wrong. Without ascribing my soul to any sort of god or religion or credo. But if I do have one, but hard not to when I think something's attached to these bones still. But if that's the case, I guess I would like to ask Sir Alcarab here then. I'm sure you have plenty of very interesting viewpoints on the world, but in terms of what you would look towards the end of your journey, as we've talked about a few times, do you have any? Would you like to explain maybe your people's or your personal view on the end?
Sure. And Alcarab reaches into like a scroll case and he pulls out a star map. And he traces his hand along like a really long constellation that goes from like the middle all the way down to one of the sides.
You have your camera on? No?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay.
And he sorry, I got distracted for some reason.
Okay.
what was I saying? Yeah, so this is called the River, this constellation here. And at least what should happen is when you die, your soul continues this path along the river, and the river here guides your journey to the heavens. And it's the fact that your soul travels this path that makes resurrection possible in the first place. If you'll notice, the two constellations to either side of it, necromancy here and transmutation here, and he points to the two constellations to either side of it. When you cast, when you cast a resurrection spell, the soul sort of tethers on to that energy from the necromancy constellation to its side, and that energy is what sort of gives the soul if you're willing, gives the soul a push back down. It's why this spell resurrection is so sort of volatile too. Resurrection sort of taps into, is it resurrection, the one that changes your form?
That is it's a druid one. It's
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's resurrection.
Reincarnation.
Reincarnation, yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
That's what reincarnation does. Is they're all like, they begin with R. They're like the same word. That's what reincarnation does. Is it sort of grabs onto some of the transmutation energy too, and so sort of against your will, that constellation exerts itself on you. But as for what happens when you reach the end of the river, nobody's ever been there and back, because everyone's been brought back before they've gotten to the end.
It's the time scales you want to look at. Things like reincarnate take souls that get sent out into the beyond, as long as they haven't been gone for more than 10 days. That is to do with that river thing Alcrab was talking about. There is a hard limit, though, 200 years. After that, the soul cannot be retrieved save through rewriting of reality.
Presumably, that's when it reaches the end of the river.
Reaches the end of the river after 10 days. That's why you can't reincarnate anymore.
Fair enough. Although necromancy still is on the table for...
Yes, up until 200 years.
Yeah.
After that, the soul is gone for all eternity. Consumed.
Fair enough.
Well, go ahead.
I mean, life with the angels after death is perfect Eden, from what I heard. It's no waiting for resurrection and new souls and possibly being forgotten for after 200 years. Or necromancy is, sinful.
Well, none of those spells force you to return. It's only if you're willing.
Resurrection is a practice done by clerics, not wizards or necromancers.
Well, I'm talking about didn't you say the 200 years that the soul's gone?
Yeah,
Yes.
real quick.
That's what I'm more referencing.
I'm gonna step in real quick, and I'm gonna say that be careful. I'm not. The specifics might be a little different here and there.
Wait, no. This is the spell description.
No. I know, but my point is that Zin, just feel free to be able to say stuff if you want, based on religious doctrine. My point is that stuff specific like that, since this is a homebrew setting, a lot of those kind of more long-reaching historical specifics might differ a little bit, but we'll say that those are the general guidelines. There's always exceptions to the rules, I'll say. So if the angels believe something different, I'm not going to say it's 100% true, but if you want to use an argument that you think would be true to your religion, then you can. I'm just stepping in to make sure that it doesn't feel like the rules are not laws. They're more like guidelines. They'd be more like guidelines. Which I think is pretty common in a lot of homebrew settings anyway. So just remember that the rules as written are not always 100%, especially with high level spells like Wish or certain resurrection, things like that. So just keep that in mind. Sorry, what?
Well, never mind then. I withdraw my statement.
No, I mean, again, it's still fairly accurate. It's just I don't want it to be like that's the absolute 100% law. There's always going to be exception. Just for the most part, yes, souls will disappear completely from any sort of interaction after 200 years about, and after 10 days, you're not going to get the resurrection spell availability anymore. So that's definitely fine. Zin, what were you going to say before we got on this rant, if you remember?
Oh, I mean, I was going to have Zin say that instead of the soul dissipating after 200 years, it's believed that they live for the rest of eternity in harmony and whatnot within the domain of the angels and with their blessing. Like, it's not sort of like you cease existing. There's still that kind of it's like not like your soul is like completely disintegrated and yourself is like totally gone. You still live on with the angels, you know? Kind of like a more of a classic like heaven example.
Right. Captain Grimm is gonna ask, well, I think I've heard you mention something about Aasimars or whatnot, or I've heard that be mentioned, which, judging by some of your abilities and whatnot, would it be fair to assume that you're an Aasimar?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about you then? If you're one of those touched by the angel types, what do you know what happens to you after you die? Is there a hierarchy like in life where you're the top dog here and you the top angel in the afterlife, maybe?
Well, an Aasimmar's duty isn't to think about their own passing and their own end. It's more to help the people and withhold the promise of the angels. So, I don't quite know. Probably some sort of hierarchy, but I mean, we are one with the divine, so it's less similar to other peoples.
Well, it must be an interesting case getting a personal guide to the afterlife, I'll have to say. I wish I had one of those. Maybe I wouldn't have been stuck out in the ocean for angels know how long. But yeah, I guess it's something to think about for old Captain Grimma here. A river and an island sounds pretty normal, natural for someone like me, so maybe that will be the right answer. Maybe it'll be the angels if they come calling. But it's an odd thing to think about after so long. I was chasing it for so long that I didn't even realize really what I was looking for in terms of death, now that I'm here. But I appreciate hearing all of your perspectives. It's something that I haven't really been able to talk to anyone about for a long time. But whatever God you pray to, you got to say that that's a beautiful sight, isn't it? And he looks out on the ocean, and it's just a peaceful evening with the stars out now, and the moon out almost full, glittering on the surface of the water, and there's just a cool breeze going through as the ship creaks through the water as it glides, kind of cutting through each tiny wave. And if you all take a look out for a second, it just is a beautiful night for the most part.
What happened to the smokestack? Or did we just pass it?
No, it's still on the horizon. It's just he's looking kind of to the right.
Okay.
It's just not in the horizon. It's not in the immediate. It's not if you looked forward. Yeah, that's what you'd see. But
Wow, that's so beautiful. Something burning. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Is there still that like funny little moon thing going on?
No, the moon. So the moon spiral turned black for a while and then has disappeared for a bit. So it's not been around for a couple weeks, almost a month now, maybe, since the gang left Ravonia, or Antania in general. So yeah, that's not been around. The stars seem okay though, which is good. But yeah, it's a little weird that hasn't been up.
Mm.
See here. There we go. Oop, there we go. All right. So I guess we'll kind of go in silence as you guys look at the beautiful decorations of the stars on the water. Yeah, I guess just in that face of that conversation, Grim is going to go back to being silently contemplative, and you guys, I guess, go back to brooding, and Al Crab goes back to navigating. With that being said, you guys start to get closer and closer, and you see that it looks to be an island of pretty small circumference, I guess. But it still looks like it has it's like one around like kind of little, just like a little beachhead, almost like a sandbar, really. But it seems to hold something that's burning on top of it. And as you get closer, I mean, if anybody wants to take a telescope to it, you'll see that there's kind of some structures that used to be there, that are no longer there.
It's not the destination, or it's just on the way.
It's not Scarthorn, no, but it is a burning wreck. Atham, give me a side check real quick.
Side check. 28.
You're detecting a little bit of psychic resonance coming off of the island itself, like a little bit of a faint kind of psychic radiation, you could say.
All right. How close are we passing to it? If we're close enough, I'll send out a little probe again, like I did for the last island.
Wait, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Before that happened, did we get a long rest at one point? I'm guessing.
Yeah, you got a long rest, we'll say.
Okay, cool.
I mean, yeah, you can go decently close if you ask the others to. I mean, they're passing by. Captain Grim is going to ask, all right, we're kind of getting toward the point where we need to make a decision. Do we want to stop by? Or are we riding past? It looks like there's somebody burned down a village here, for what I can tell on the telescope.
Bring us in closer for a look before we make a decision.
All right.
I can scout it out a bit if you bring me close enough.
All right. You are able to, or Grim is able to guide you guys in a little bit closer. You can send out your eye, and you are going to be able to see that it looks like there used to be kind of like a sailor pirate cove here, and looks to have there's signs of a lot of struggle, like a big fight went down here. um, with axes, a lot of crude weaponry. Um, you can tell that the stuff that was burned down, there was a lot of marks from weapons hitting them and like things cut down. A few burned bodies of what you assume to be the residents. But as you get closer, you notice that there seems to have been kind of like a starting point for the fire toward the center of the town, and a few scorch marks leading away from it. Or not leading away, but kind of pushed outward from it, you could say.
All right, I'm gonna send the sensor further inland, see if I can see anything.
All right. You get further inland, and you're able to kind of get to what looks to be the center of the where the fire started. And you notice what looks to be kind of a body sort of curled up and scarred or scorched, blackened beyond recognition, at the center of it, that is at the center of the blast. As you look around, you can tell that there's a few buildings and I guess bungalows, as you might call them, kind of flattened and pushed away, slanted from whatever the blast was that was centered on this person's body.
That's the only body?
There's a few more like around, but the only one at the center of at the epicenter of the explosion. Yes.
Does it look like a magical explosion or like a standard explosive? Can I tell that at all?
I mean, tell you what, give me an investigate check. If you're gonna just be using the eye with disadvantage, but
Investigation, you said?
yeah.
Okay. I'm taking a screen check because I don't want to be accused, but I rolled another 26.
It's okay. I believe you.
I don't believe you. Just kidding.
That's why I'm sending it. This thing is beautiful. I love it so much.
What are you? Oh my god.
Ooh. Just hacked it. Man.
Hold on.
But yeah, 26.
26. All right. There we go. So the explosion looks to be. There's no device that you're aware of in Tier C that would normally be able to kind of create the size of explosion, in terms of chemical means, like physical engineering, chemical, whatever you want to call it. So it's most likely of a supernatural origin. And you are able to feel that there is still a bunch of psychic residue all across the island right now, kind of layering it.
Some kind of arcane explosion went off over there. Big.
Pirate coves like these see a lot of fighting. I'm at least for my day they did, but something like this, usually you don't destroy the place fully. The whole deal is, there's a bit of a code of honor. You fight, you steal stuff, you might even kill a little bit, but you normally don't wreck the place. That's bad for business. You don't have a place to resupply, and you don't have a place to raid again if you ever get bored or hungry or low on funds. So explosives, especially this kind of magic level, unless pirates have gotten more advanced since I remember, but who knows? Maybe they could have.
Am I getting any hoodoo voodoo vibes?
You are getting a little bit of a hoodoo voodoo vibe. You are detecting a bit of evil from the island in the direction of the town center. I will say that much. It's not strong, it's faint.
That's still something.
Worth investigating?
We could go check it out.
I sense something
Alright, let's go.
wrong, so
All right, you guys are gonna hop off and take a look around the island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, you guys jump off on the land. Captain Grimm is able to make a makeshift kind of anchor with some of the dock that was ruined. He's able to tie up there. He says we should be good for the moment. Well, not too good to be sailing all at night, or the entire night. So it's fine if we take a few hours here and there. And you guys jump off, and there's just a smell that assaults all of your nostrils together of just burning wood, flesh, maybe a little bit of rum for Atham, who would probably know what burning rum smells like. And it's just eerily quiet as well for this place. It's just the sound of wind whipping through and being filtered by the kind of blown out buildings. Yeah, and what do you guys just want to head directly for the town center then?
I do.
Yeah, seems to be the source of all the issues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're able to kind of make it to the center, and you're able to see kind of that scene that the eye saw earlier of this blackened corpse kind of laying a little bit sprawled out, sort of scrunched up though in it kind of looks like it was originally in a fetal position, but then was knocked kind of all about in the explosion, but it's still all together in one piece. And you're able to look around and just see that anything that was close to it in like a 60 feet radius has been completely destroyed and blown out. So you do sense a little bit of you sense psychic energy a lot more as you get closer to the body, and Zin, you're able to detect that there is a little bit of evil residue kind of directly close to the body. Al-Karab, for you, I don't think there's really going to be much that you would notice about it at the moment, unless you want to look for something specific.
Well, I think the other two have got this. I'm confident in their noses.
Thanks.
Their nose. It's okay. That works.
Thanks, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, compliments are big. Nose compliments are pretty big in his culture.
Nose core.
Nose core. All right. Yeah. What are you guys going to be looking for? Anything specific?
I want to examine the body as best I can. I know you said it's already burnt beyond recognition, but I'm just gonna at least try.
Demonic stuff. I want to beat up any demonic stuff.
Okay. So Atham, you're going to get closer a little bit, and you're going to see that there is the body is completely charred, but I think that you're going to have enough psychic recognition to be able to tell that what happened here was kind of how should we put this, a bad psychic trip, you could say.
Okay.
This person was most likely a psyker and somehow they just erupted into a well of psychic energy and completely decimated this island, or at least what was left of it. And they've been dead for a while now. It's kind of hard to tell with the body. I mean, you can investigate, or you could try and see what happened to them in the last few days. You have that. Can you only do that on living things, or can you do it on inanimate objects as well?
It's. I can only do that for memories. I can only look at like the past. 1 second, let me look it up. I think I can only do like a couple hours, not days, on living things. because, psionics is mind stuff, and there's no mind here, so here, let me see. Okay, no, last 24 hours. So, yeah.
So you could take a look at the last 24 hours of the corpse.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. You're able to see that, for the most part, there is just kind of a blackness, as there seem to be scared and being chained up somewhere in the bowels of a ship. And it cuts to them being out in the field, or sorry, on this beach here on the island, in the middle of these houses, and there are these massive armored individuals that are kind of corralling them, and there's a sound of battle going around. And one of them grabs them by the neck, lifts the hood off, and they're kind of in this red and black armor. It wouldn't be a pattern that you're recognizing, and they seem to start putting what looks to be vegetation on them. From what you can tell, it kind of looks like there's some kind of fungus on them, and then it just kind of, they start, the person that you were looking at of the memories, the body, it seems to be a young man, starts to shake and quiver in pain and yell a little bit, and then there's just a giant flash of light as something explodes. As you're looking at this, Zin, you're able to detect that underneath the body there seems to be a little bit of black mushrooms that are growing, that you are able to detect, are setting off your sensors for detect evil.
Oh, that's bad. I want to burn them with radiant fire.
All right. How do you do this? You walk over with your glaive and you just kind of like you stab at thee from hell's heart, or whatever the line is.
I mean, sure. I don't know. Can I do a thing? I don't know if I have a thing where I just kind of want to like. Oh, what powers do I have? I
I mean,
just
we
want to
can
like
just say
conjure
fluff-wise,
up
like,
divine. Like I just want to see if I'm able to like conjure up just a. I have light, but like I don't know if that counts.
no. Tell you what. You have enough power at this level. I mean, your basic attacks have divine energy on them at this point.
That's
So,
true.
however you want to do this, just tell us how you think Zin cuts out this scene, or cuts out this tell us how the scene works where Zin is cutting out this infection that's growing near the corpse, and
Okay.
it should be fine.
I'm guessing. Do the others notice it?
For now, I mean, Athen will probably notice it as soon as he's done looking at whatever he's looking at in the corpse. It's pretty obvious, but at night, it's kind of hard to notice these black mushrooms right next to him. You would notice too if you understand, that mushrooms aren't too common in this place. So yeah.
I just didn't know if I had to tell everyone like if it was that big a deal, but because I didn't know how to say it. But I might mention it, and then I'm just going to like I want to conjure up just kind of like a ball of just radiant energy. Like my hand kind of turns all like glowy, extra glowy, and like with white light, and I almost just want to like shoot it down at those to just burn them, to let them,
Mhm.
like
They
almost like just.
So yeah, you kind of wave your hand, and a divine white flame erupts out of them, and you just hear a little bit of a as they kind of screech and hiss, either from the moisture being released or from something else, as they start to burn down and are banished away, and the black corruption on the ground underneath them starts to also fade.
Impressive.
Thanks. Yeah. Obviously, there's been demonic tainting or just evil presence here. had to rid it, do my thing. To say.
Tend to agree.
Reasonable enough.
I'm gonna look around at the other bodies. Can I find any of them that were the black and red armored figures?
Let's see here. Let me roll a quick check on something.
I might also poke around at some of the bodies.
Yeah, each of anybody who wants to look around at the bodies, just give me a quick investigation check.
Investigation.
Do it too.
17.
15.
Badly, never mind.
It's fine. Zin's in the afterglow of his triumph right now over the mushrooms.
Fuck them mushrooms.
Fuck those fungi. What did you get, Atham?
17.
17. So you're able to go around and kind of take a look at everything. It doesn't seem that anybody was left over in terms of the bodies. Most of the bodies are too small to be what you saw in the flashback. You do get bits of armor here and there that do look like they were knocked off of the broad shoulders of the soldiers that you saw. You can take a look at those and inspect those if you would like.
Sure.
I'm guessing, yeah, okay. I was going to guess that you were.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like very crude metal. It looks like a few centuries behind what you might be used to from a professional army. And also having such big plated warriors is pretty uncommon among sailors normally, because, you get fighting on a ship and you get knocked off in that, you're going to drown. Besides that, I mean, the closest this thing could be pointing you to is that it kind of reminds you of crude Rhodian just make that is used by a lot of the more brutal tribes that would come out of there. So it's not uncommon for raiders to just kind of make their way around and eventually raid a few islands here and there from coming out of Rhodia. Seems like the most likely explanation Atham would be able to bring up from his experiences.
Did I notice anything about the fungus, both from the vision and also from the one that Zin destroyed?
I mean, I won't be a dick and say like, "Oh, it's Zin destroyed it before you got to look at it," but
well, I got to look at it in the vision anyways. So
that's true. Yeah. Could you are you just like anything that would be different about it? Is kind of what you're saying, like because for the most part,
yeah, pretty much just anything
unusual,
any demarcations from natural yeah.
Well, they definitely look like a nice portobello. They would go well on a pasta. No.
Interesting, but not relevant to the current situation.
I know you're one of your soul shards gets the munchies pretty heavy whenever you guys talk about certain vegetation. In regards to that, I guess for the most part, it doesn't look like any natural species that Atham would be familiar with. He hasn't had it's been a while since he got his doctorate in fungal studies, so he maybe he forgot one or two, unlikely, but for the most part, it doesn't look completely natural. Okay. You do know that Rhodians are known for druidic magic, so it's entirely possible that this is a pure magic creation. But
do I know any magic that would cause a violent detonation like that when it interacts with psionics?
No, and that's exactly what's weird, is that normally psionics and magic don't mix, but not in an exploding way, more of they start to flicker and shut down way. So you did notice that when the mushroom was applied, if you want to put it like that, to the psionic, that it started to seem to react as if it was awakening when it got closer to the psionic. When it was touching the giant person in the armor, it really wasn't doing anything, but it started to multiply and kind of sprout more spores as it got put on the psionic. So that's definitely weird. And you will notice that when you got closer, you did kind of feel it have some sort of react to stimuli when you got close. Roll me an insight check with a. What is your plus to insight?
Insight. That is wisdom. +7.
All right. DC 25 insight check.
Okay. I'm going to give myself a D4 bonus to this.
You son of a bitch.
Doesn't matter. 20.
Dirty
20.
Dirty 20. Okay. So with this, I'll say that there were a couple tendrils that were popping out of it when you saw it in the vision. That's all I'm gonna say for now.
All right.
Its color was an otherworldly black too. Like it's a black that you've never seen on any sort of vegetation in your life. Let's see here. Yeah, everybody give the customary. Here we go. And then let me respond to a message real quick. Oh yeah, I guess that goes back to Alcrab. To answer your question? What did you roll, Alcrab? And I will get back to your concerns.
When I initially made the investigation, I think it was a 15.
15. Okay. Are you looking for mushrooms, people, armor, anything specific?
I'm poking. I want to poke around away from like where everyone else is poking around. See if I can find something that other people may have missed.
So we're gonna say that you go a little closer to the body, and where the mushrooms were burning, as Zin is kind of standing over them, and you're just gonna hear in your mind, "Don't stay away." And you can feel that there is a direction telling you to go pretty much in the exact opposite direction.
I'm probably gonna go in the opposite direction then.
Mm-hmm. You do, and you're able to kind of look around, and you stumble upon a storehouse that has not been destroyed, farther in and kind of behind a sand mound where you could see that maybe it was shielded from the blast by this little rising sand dune.
Is there anything in it?
Yeah, you go in, and it's filled with a lot of coins, some textiles, like a bunch of cloth and silks, sugar. I'm trying to think what else would be in there. Some meats, or actually, no, not meat. Some salt as well, barrels of salt.
Like trade goods, basically.
Yeah, some like cash food, cash crops, and some seasonings. Basically, there's no meat. Surprisingly, rum's gone. There's a few textiles, and there's some currencies, which is a bit odd because it's not exactly hidden. So it's a little weird that this has been left over for whatever reason.
Are they like weird, strange currencies, or is it just like money?
It's currency from all over the world, but it's in standard gold. So, like, at the very worst, I mean, if nobody accepted it, you could just melt it down and use it for something else if you want. Most people accept gold straight up.
I might grab like a handful of money and then wander back out to everyone else and be like, if you guys want like trade goods or some textiles in a warehouse back there.
What the skeleton?
What the skeleton? I don't know why, but that line always gets me. Oh boy, I would love to see Zin say that one day, unironically.
I guess I'm just gonna keep poking around. I don't think there's much else for me to investigate, but I'll just try.
I mean, you can if you want. basically there's not much else left. You notice that there seems to have been a fight beforehand, so you don't understand why this bomb was set off, especially because in your memories, from what it looked like, the people in these giant towering armor didn't seem to be worried about the fight. They seemed to be pretty confident to the point where they were just keeping this person in the middle of the melee. A lot of crude giant weapons seem to have been used. You can tell from the strikes in the wood. These were big guys or girls. And I'm trying to think, just would there be anything else left that you would that you would like get or be useful to you? I think that's about it for the most part. I'm trying to. All of the psychic stuff seems to be originating from that place, so it's not like there's any other psychic parts hiding on the island.
Right.
Yeah.
By big, do you mean like unnaturally big or just like generally tall? Like Yen's big or like, yeah.
They're 100% like one of the hardier races in Tier Cs. They're definitely. You'll say that you're most likely narrowed it down to these guys being Rhodians, just from the fact that the sheer size of them means that they were coming from a place that encourages bigger people, which is Rhodia. And that's, I mean, you could probably tell that your guesses would either be maybe Minotaurs, because you couldn't tell exactly how tall the person was who you were viewing the memories through, because it was like a little bit of a scrambled last day. But your best guess would be orcs, minotaurs, bugbears, or something like I keep forgetting what the lion, or maybe dragonborn or the lionkin, whatever they're fucking called.
Yeah.
Okay. It would have to be one of those races. It's most definitely not humans. They did all seem to be one race, which is a bit odd for a Tier C, but can happen.
Okay. Cool.
Zin, is there anything else you wanted to do?
I don't know. So we found some stuff. It's likely a raid. Did I eradicate all the heebie-jeebies? Like,
you eradicated the heebie-jeebies that you found. Yeah, you don't sense any more on the island.
Okay. Weird. Is there just like nothing else? Like, I feel like it's just odd that we found an island that was raided and that the people are gone. Are they gone? Can we?
Yeah, there's bodies all around us, right?
There's bodies all around you for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they're all dead?
So
yeah, they're pretty much all dead, yeah.
So we can't tell if like everyone was killed and the people who killed them got away, or did everyone kill everyone? It's kind of the vibe.
That part's unclear.
That is something that I should mention too. A lot of the other ships that would have been docked, that around where you docked, you can kind of go over and see that there was a bunch burned in harbor, and just like smashed to bits. So I mean, Atham, I'll let you kind of explain what you found to Zin if he's asking you for the moment. But it seems like people came here, killed a lot of people, started burning the village, set off this bomb that burned down the rest of it, except for that shack Alcarab found, and then left because there's no ship here, and there's not enough bodies to have done all this. Like, you don't see any of the big guys in armor, so they must have left. So that must mean they have gotten off with a ship.
Okay. So to our knowledge, there's no one alive on the island right now.
Correct.
Or there's no threats alive, at least, maybe.
There's no threat left on the island.
Well, seems like normal,
Normal?
Savage raiding and whatnot. There's
not destruction of this scale. This was orchestrated somehow. They knew how to create an explosion like this.
Well, do we know where we are or who these people were? Because
I don't suppose you know about any black armored with red trim raiders from Rhodia?
I don't believe
Never heard of them.
there's much influence in Rhodia, so I am unaware.
Well, this happened within about the last day, so we should keep an eye out for ships on the horizon.
Good to know. Is there any supply? Did we take all the supplies we could have used? I think Alcrab did, right?
I just grabbed some coins, but I mean, there not many of those supplies. Not many of those supplies are particularly useful to us
Yeah.
unless you plan on retiring and becoming a merchant. In which case, you'll have a head start with textiles and cash crops.
Yeah.
But I don't think we need lots of raw corn and wheat and tobacco and whatever else constitutes a cash crop here.
That's fair. I don't know if there's anything we could just mom. But yeah, there's no point.
And if they were raiders, anything too valuable would have been taken.
Right.
So it's simply a warning to watch out while we're sailing.
Did
I guess so.
Athen, did you get any sense as to why?
It seemed their intention was to cause this explosion, and so beyond that, no.
Interesting. I feel like why do this? If you don't take the money, right?
Yeah, I noticed you grabbed some coins. Yeah, they weren't after loot, so.
Well, sometimes people are just evil and corruptive, and it just seems like probably a thing of malice, if anything.
If it was demonic in nature of some kind, it could have been an attempt for some kind of mass battlefield sacrifice.
That's true.
But then they wouldn't have left ostensibly. They'd want to use the site that they sacrificed on for whatever ritual they were going to do with the power of the sacrifice. So
And what would just some mushrooms even really mean in the circumstances of that? I feel like if they were trying to...
It's unclear.
Well, the evil's been eradicated now. I don't see why
Yeah.
we should alter.
I don't think there's anything else for us to do here. We should continue.
Fair enough.
All right, back to the ship.
Back at the ship.
Ah, come on. I was enjoying that. Unless you want to just stay around a little bit longer.
No.
No.
You want to add more clues? I'll stay if you add more clues.
Oh, fuck.
No, it's useless. Let's just go. I want to go to Scarthorn so we can get them and so we can go to the conference, please.
You'll get there when I'm good and ready.
But Sid's worried. I have to be there. I can't be late. It'll be embarrassing.
I have to spend more time teaching necromancy to children.
No one can stop me.
Also, is everybody going to be late to that conference?
I mean, we'll get to it when we get to it. All right, no more chronology shit. I'm not dealing with this one. We've got two concurrent storylines. When you're gonna get there, Eb's gonna just be an evil necromancer. Yeah. So you guys get back on the ship. Captain Grimm was kind of standing guard. He wasn't investigating too much with you guys. Terrible sight. He starts to, take the lines off and everything like that. I guess wanton cruelty, though, ain't a stranger to the Great Basin Ocean at times. Sometimes men just go mad. I know I did, at least for a while, but I never really wanted to butcher a whole town, so I don't know what caused these people to do that.
The insane usually aren't this organized or have that well-supplied weapons.
That is fair enough. I do wonder about that.
Worst case scenario, this is some kind of test for an attack on the conference, is my only worry.
That would make sense given its out of the way nature.
Well, why
Yeah.
would
Well, we'd
why
be,
would
it's a
bunch
pirate
of
cove.
Rhodians- But why would a bunch of Rhodians and pirates wish to harm the conference?
Well, they might
Are-
be from Rhodia, but they might have been employed by someone not from Rhodia.
That's true. Do we investigate the nature of the explosion then? Do we
Uh,
already search as much as we?
Yes, we've gotten everything we can from here.
And this is only just a reason to get to the conference sooner rather than later. If we suppose this is a test run.
That is a shaky theory. That's with no other important targets in sight. That's my supposition. I think I'm using that word right.
Potentially. Although, quick question is, this does lead to an important question. Atham, how much did you explain to them about the nature of the explosion?
I'm not giving Zin more ammunition against Scions.
So you've specifically omitted that it was a psionic in nature explosion. It's just you've been using magic as a smoke screen, shall we say?
Well, the triggering mechanism was the demonic mushrooms, so that's the important part.
You're a dick, Atham.
Oh no.
Well, also, again, you keep using demonic as this umbrella term. It never said that they weren't.
What? I tell me the mushrooms just had like an evil mustache on them.
Well, no, I mean maybe.
Good and detect good and evil detects fiends and celestials.
No, I've mentioned this a couple times. Is that
You can't keep changing the rules on me.
I didn't.
Why?
I told you that yes, it does detect. It can detect celestials and fiends, but I've mentioned a couple times that you can have good angels and evil angels, and you can have bad angels or bad demons and good demons. It's not. I've been pretty explicit in the lore that it is not good and evil, and like cursed magic is slightly different. Like things that are explicitly bad is different than just where the magic comes from. It's kind of like what I was talking about, where like there's sometimes a lot of demons are bad, but then there's also fae that are like helpful fairies that guide children through forests and whatnot, and they're not explicitly evil.
The fae are the most evil creatures in all of D&D.
This is not the Forgotten Realms, though. This is Tier C.
I know.
I have established this. I'm going to be clear about that one.
All right.
But yes, it was fiendish in nature, we'll say.
Okay. So my point stands then. The triggering mechanism is the mushrooms, and the mushrooms are some way related to fiendish-esque magic.
Fiends. I'm going to say fiends. I'm not going to say fiendish magic. I'm just going to say that your umbrella terminology, man, is going to come back and to bite you in a while. I'm just
you keep giving me. Okay, well, give me more. Never mind. Let's just continue.
I'm just saying you gotta look at it from a certain point of view.
Give me more information. Continue. Let's just continue. I've had enough. Let's continue.
Oh, well, I haven't had enough, you son of a bitch. Testing the limits, as one says. In that sense, you're going to keep going on. And Grim is going to say then, yes. A weapons test, a pre-assassination, I guess, run-through, you could say. I mean, there's been plenty of people who have made mistakes, and maybe they thought it would do something, and it ended up doing something else. Who knows? It could be a lot of different things. But for the most part, we can go on, and I guess there's nothing to do for the people here since they're all gone.
They do be dead.
They do be dead. They do be do. So you're going to keep sailing on, I guess, in silence. It's going to take a while. It's going to transfer from night to day as you guys kind of keep going. Does anybody take a rest in the meantime? I mean, I don't think you guys have used up any slots or any side points, right? I think everybody's pretty much the same, right?
Yeah.
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 So it wouldn't
Rest
matter
is
too
always
much.
good.
Yeah, why not? So Zin could have taken a nap or whatnot, while Grimund and Alcrab are able to Alcrab. What?
Don't prank me.
No, they're not going to prank you. The other thing is, I guess, Atham, is there anything you want to do in the sense of, do you want to rest? Are you going to talk to Alcrab or Grima, or are you just going to kind of let it go, which is fine? Let things happen.
I'll give everyone else a chance to rest. I'll man the tiller so everyone can have a sleep.
Okay, very nice of you. Everybody can kind of take a rest then. People sleep. You man the tiller. It's calmer now, so you don't need Alcrab and Grima to help guide or anything, or help do the other stuff with the what we're gonna say, the jib and the fucking mast and the boom, cockpit stern, whatever. Go through all those things again. I'll get you guys back for that one day, I swear to God. So it becomes morning. The sun rises. It's a beautiful sunrise. The light twinkles off the blue ocean, and you're kind of able to all wake up to some nice, fresh sea air. Question is, though, is that you guys are probably going to start to get hungry, at least those of you who can, which would be mainly Alcrab and Zin. I believe Atham doesn't necessarily need sustenance. You can look around for food if you want. And you're gonna have to do that, though. It's an old boat. It's an old ship.
I thought we would have brought food. God damn it.
I mean, I know if you guys want to say you did retroactively, I'm not going to be a dick and say you have to do that every time. But just does anybody have anything that they want to mention? I just think it's a good point that I've kept food pretty important, not important, but food scenes have happened every now and then. So I like to make sure that we're reminding people that the characters are eating.
Well, we even if we didn't stock up on food, we would have grabbed some from the burnt out village, right? Because we did say we grabbed anything we needed, which we didn't think we needed anything at the time. So if we are low on food, we would have grabbed food.
Yeah.
They were mainly spices and sugar, but if you guys
handfuls of sugar.
I mean, I think
entire town living off pepper.
Well, maybe it's because the people took the meat. Who knows? Maybe the raiders did take something. They just didn't care about the wealth. Did they?
Did they?
I don't know.
Why would I tell you that? Why?
Because the food would be there if they hadn't.
Well, where would okay? Well, the food could have also.
I can make food if you'd like. I can make good berries. 10 of them.
Make good berries. Well, you do that, son of a bitch.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm getting aggressive on you.
If we want to avoid the food thoughts, we can eat magic.
I mean, yeah. There's also
I probably have rations. So we probably.
You also probably all have rations you never used from your beginning loadout.
If you want us to search around the ship, I mean, yeah, sure.
I mean, there's a couple what's the word? Jars of honey that haven't gone bad, and there's a few like very tightly sealed containers of oats that you could cook up if you want. That's about it. Otherwise, you can just have a couple good berries and you're fine.
Go.
I guess Alcrab and gives whoever wants a good berry. Won't say you have to use a spell slot for that. Zin and you can. Zin, do you know how to cook up the oats and honey?
I don't really know. I don't really think he's bothered to cook much. I feel like he can try, but he was probably. Yeah, no, I don't think he can cook. Because he was always given, like, food. Like, he was always served. You know, it's not a thing that like super awesome divine people who have everything handed to them need to worry about, you know? Like he was raised with like maids and servants and cooks, so
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna say that Zin is in the kitchen area of the ship, kind of looking at these oats and this honey, trying to figure out how to cook them. I guess Captain Grimo, I will say, kind of will pass by on his way to help let Atham off the tiller or whatever. And he's gonna say, "Hi, having some breakfast, lad."
to who? To me?
To you, yeah. You're the one who's looking at the oats and the honey.
Yeah. I mean, gotta eat.
Well, here, let me. He's gonna take a little bit of a sly look at you, and he's gonna come over, and he's gonna be like, "Well, you know, there's a special way to cook oats. I'm sure you're used to cooking oats in on land way, but there's a special way that you should cook them at sea. Just so you know."
Oh, is there? I mean, I'm an expert at all things like cooking too, so.
Exactly. I figured. So I just wanted to make sure, lad, that you knew the special way for on the sea. You can do it on land if you ever want to do it in the future, but here's a good way to do it at sea. And he's going to take out a pot and put it on the stove. I was going to say, first you want to light your fire. He lights it real quick underneath some wood that's left over, very dry and old wood. It catches almost immediately. In a little stove oven, or the wood fire stove. He's so you want to get a ratio pretty similar, maybe 1-to-1. He takes out a measuring cup, maybe 1 to 75% water, 100% water to 75% oats, depending on how soupy you like it. I'm sure of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, so he takes a couple scoops of water into the thing. He starts to wait for it to boil. And as it boils, he's like, all right, as soon as the bubbles start coming up, which is very important for the sea version, you want to throw in your oats. He tosses in 2 scoops of oats, and he puts a top on it, and he turns the fire off. He's like, now you let the oats absorb the water. It's a little different here out in the ocean. The atmospheric pressure makes the absorption rate a little different. So just, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he closes the pot. He's like, you're gonna, just count out for a little bit, minute, 2 minutes. And we check in again. He starts whistling.
Cool.
And he's like, all right. And he pulls off the top. The oats have now soaked a little bit. It's like, for a little sweetness, you put in a couple scoops of honey. Takes the crystallized honey and kind of digs it out a little bit, the grains, and throws it in. And he's like, now here's what makes it the sea version. It's very important. Have you followed me up till now?
Yeah.
He reaches over and grabs a pinch of salt, and he sprinkles it into the oats. He's like, just like sea salt or salt water, kind of salt oats. It's the sea version. Sometimes sailors would boil a little bit out from the water, and it we'd like to add it to our oatmeal to give it a little extra kick of flavor. And he scoops a little bit out into a bowl. He's like, did that make sense for the most part?
Yeah. Looks like oats.
That it does, lad. That it does. And he's going to hand the oats over to you. And he's going to say, well, I hope you enjoy your breakfast. I'll be up on at the tiller if you need me. I'll let old Latham off. I'm sure he's getting bored up there.
He's probably fine, but okay. Not that I care, but you know.
Yeah, of course. I know you trust him. And he's gonna go over to the so he's gonna let Atham off. He's like, morning to you. I'll let you off now, Mr. Atham. Thank you for your diligence.
No problem.
All right. Alcarab, what do you think you're going to be doing in the morning? Just have a little bit of your good berries and you're good to go again?
Yeah, I might try putting honey on. Well, if it's crystallized, it might be hard, but putting honey on a good berry and then eating that, and that's the breakfast, and then he's good to go.
That sounds like a good breakfast. I wonder if Cameron, I wonder if good berries taste similar to sensu beans.
Maybe. Probably a bit fruitier.
Bit fruitier, yeah. You know, sensu bean is probably more savory on that side.
Mm.
Yeah, a little fruity.
I miss you.
Oh.
Ooh.
1 second.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I said something funny, so he must write it down.
Mm.
You wouldn't understand
I'm
me
gonna-
funny.
My God.
I guess not. I haven't got a quote in recently.
Can't get a quote in edgewise, huh?
Mm.
There we go. There we go. I think that's appropriate. With that being said, then everybody's going to, I guess, we'll be relaxing a little bit. The boat creaks back and forth as it cuts through the waves. Smoke's behind you, and it's off in the distance. You can't see it anymore. And you eventually all hear Captain Grimace say, "Oh, ship! I believe ship sighted."
Oh,
I think probably already up on deck. Probably just hanging out.
I hear
So,
ship. I am ready to fight. These might be the bad guys.
Where is boat?
Yes, elaborate.
Well, hold on. Maybe I spoke too soon. Is that a ship or it's over there, south, port side?
Which side? If he's pointing, I'm going that way.
Yeah, he points. And he.
What's the shit? Or the thing?
All right.
Cardboard?
Chill. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing, thinking back to when Will was like, "I know everything about the ship stuff, but I'll have wouldn't, so I'm not gonna help you." I'm sorry. That just cracked me up. So you guys see a not tall but very wide-looking, kind of hazy ship-looking thing off in the distance. As you get closer, it doesn't look like the normal dimensions of a ship. It looks almost like an island, but it's not an island because it doesn't have a beach or docks from what you can see, or at least not any sort of differential. It looks like a bunch of wood just kind of lashed together almost. What were you going to ask, then?
No, I was going to say, is there any like particular buildings on it, and would it particularly make us think it is a creepy floating island that, does anyone know this, has vines all over it? Or is it just kind of a weird ass boat?
It has some structures on it, but it's flat. It's not a giant rock that has something on top of it with a bunch of vines on it. No, I'm sorry.
Okay, I don't trust these people then. If it's a moving thing.
It's not a well. I mean, like it looks like it's floating kind of lazily around. It's
spy any sails? I'm guessing not.
Not at the moment, no.
Okay.
No, there's no sails that you can see above it. In fact, yeah, it just looks like it's a bunch of wooden structures lashed together. Doesn't seem to be any rock. Doesn't seem to be attached to anything. So guess it's a ship, kind of like a floating village. It looks like.
Weird. Let's stray away from it.
All right. I mean, you can start going past it. It's like, Captain Grimm is going to say, "What's the call here? We go on by it."
We're avoiding it. We don't know if it's those creepy Rhodian raiders or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that big when I was looking into the past of the attack. Something this huge would have been visible.
Yeah. Also, in the memories, you did notice that you were in the hull of a big ship, but it definitely was like a ship. So like it was not this weird village thing. So whatever it was not where this person was being held in their memories. Which, speaking of Atham, speaking of you and your abilities, well, I'll tell you what. I'm just going to say straight up. You're able to detect for the first time in quite a while psionic signatures, a bunch of them.
Does he say this to the group? Because if not, we're moving away
No,
from it.
of course not. We'd never say this.
We're moving away from it, so. Because this is Zin's boat. So if Atham doesn't say anything and he doesn't say that he wants to go there or has a good reason, we're leaving.
Well, they are relatively close to the last island. They might have spotted whatever attacked that island. It's worth checking in to see if they know anything. Especially doesn't seem like they have any ships of their own. So they won't pose a threat to us.
We don't really know what this thing is. We can't tell if it's a ship or an island. I don't think it's worth the risk. We don't, again.
I don't see any
Why?
propulsion on it.
Well, why?
Yeah, well, that would make it only dangerous if we get close to it, if it can't move.
Yeah, so we should stay away from it. Is there any reason you really care to investigate it? There's nothing else. I thought you were pretty set on getting to what Scarthorn was.
I am. I'm detecting psionic signatures over there. Given that is a rare occurrence, I think it bears investigating.
Hmm.
I'd be fine going.
Well, I think like good psionic vibes or bad psionic. Can't you use your psionics to communicate with them? If there are people there with psionic signatures? Again, I don't see the necessity of this unless it's something like, I don't know, the Minervans.
Just connecting to minds willy-nilly is generally a bad idea. But I can see if what I can pick up.
Okay. We'll stay at a distance until there's any.
Acceptable. I can scout it without landing as well, so just get us close enough and I can take a peek.
Could like circle it while you check it out.
Stay a distance because we don't know if this is. Well, Atham didn't mention the fact that the bomb thing was psionic, so Zin doesn't know that this could be the possible threat because Atham's keeping shit to himself like an asshole.
Well, I mean, to be fair, actually, it's kind of working out in his favor because I feel like if Zin knew that the bomb was set off by psionics, Zin would not want to go anywhere near the floating island. So, is Zin proven right? Has history proven Atham right? Only time will tell.
Yes and no, because then it would be like, oh, these are the Minervans. Maybe we should take them down. But also, yeah, probably not. I mean,
Minervans are anti-psionic.
Okay.
I don't have a point. I'm just saying.
Okay. Who else has psionics besides you?
It's not a club thing.
Well, it sounds like a club thing.
Are we getting closer or not?
Did you pick up anything else or not?
I detected psionic signatures. I can't parse more than that at the moment because we are far away.
You guys are starting to get closer. Captain Grima kind of is starting to see that you two are going at it, so he's like, "I'm just going to go closer."
As soon as we're close enough, I'll send out a probe.
Give me a quick side check before you do that.
Dirty 20.
You count, I'm going to say between 20 and 30 psionic people in there, as far as you are able to detect, which for you, that is a huge amount of psionic energy just in one place. Probably one of the bigger gatherings that you've seen outside of anything you've done in quite some time. You're able to send out a probe, and as it gets closer, which, by the way, so could you describe to us again what a psionic probe kind of looks like?
It does the same thing as what it looks like.
Yeah.
Well, it's invisible, so it doesn't look like anything. But I suppose it looks like it's based off of. Yeah, let me find the spell. I think it's called
Visible to those who aren't psychers.
I don't think so. I don't think it's. I think it's invisible to scions as well, unless they're doing some kind of see invisibility power.
I mean, yeah. My point is more of that if it does get uncovered, I think the only people who can see it, if it's recognized, is going to be psychers.
Well, that's up to your definition of magic in this world.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. It is. Yeah. So it just looks like an eye, if you can see it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to change it, it looks like something else. That's also up to your prerogative.
An eye is fine.
All right.
An eye. Do you need any more information about it?
No, that's pretty good. I remember most of its
Just
metrics.
visualization.
Yeah, I mean it's important, I think, too, just because. So the eye gets closer. I know we've said an eye before, but I just want to confirm.
Well, the spell is called Wandering Eye or Phasing Eye, I suppose. Is what I'm using right now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, well, I mean, again, you can anything you guys want to refluff, totally open to it. But anyway, the point being, you're able to kind of go out, and you do see there are some people kind of walking on these like wood bridges between the different houses, or if you want to call them that, cabins, maybe compartments. As they are going about their day, people seem to be pretty relaxed. They generally just look like normal people. There is not a uniform as far as you can tell. There's not a kind of like a bunch of robes, and there's not like a militant look to them. They just look like people from different cultures. You spy a few people with Antonian kind of more scholarly outfits. You spot people in some Rhodian tribal wear. You can spot some Erosian smith garb that would be popular in metallurgy shops. Just kind of a large breadth of different cultures are represented here. As the eye gets a little bit closer, it suddenly hits a wall and is stops from entering any further. You can look around and it's not being like attacked or whatnot, but there seems to be some kind of psychic wards around the whole floating island.
All right. What do I see?
In terms of I mean that's pretty much it. It's like this kind of what seems to be like a dome almost around the floating island itself. You can still see the people walking around, but there's really not much activity otherwise. Like people just seem to be going about their day.
Is anyone armed?
As far as you can see, no.
Okay. None of them are armed, so it doesn't seem to be the people we're after. But if it is scions, they might be able to detect ships in the general area.
Are we planning on going after these people or just figuring out what happened?
I think we just want to know what we're dealing with. The more information, the better. We don't have to stay here for long. Probably just like 5 minutes, really. Just ask some questions. Either they'll know or they won't.
Fair enough.
True. I mean, this is kind of like a once in a millennia find in some ways. The if you agree, they're Captain Grimma is going to start taking you guys closer, and is going to kind of start angling himself to what looks to be. He's like, I think I found the entrance. Seems to be kind of a main, I guess, walkway dock toward a little bit on the side there. I'll sail us around so we can get in safely.
Wait a second. If this is a dome thing,
The psionic shield is like
dome. I'm just saying, could it not, instead of being, you say you can see through it and see there's other stuff going on down there, but what if it's a disguise, like a mask?
Oh, that doesn't typically. Also, psionic powers kind of can't be like constantly maintained unless you have. I mean, most magic isn't like just a permanent fixture, especially because psionics requires your full concentration. So they could have someone whose job is to just sit there and generate big illusion the whole time, but that seems unlikely to do when they don't seem to be aware of us.
All right.
You are going to see that people kind of are going to start to take more notice of you as you guys get closer in your ship. Atham, you can see that a few people are going to kind of be somewhat alarmed, not like in the sense of freaking out, but like just very surprised and wondering what's going on. It is met with some suspicious looks from what you can see outside the dome. And you see that they do send to get someone, but it seems to be a woman who starts to walk up on the main dock to meet you at the entrance. She has short, kind of dirty blonde hair in a kind of like a little bit like a pixie cut, like shaved on the sides when like pushed back on the top. She's tall, about 5'10", and she's wearing some kind of like red robes, but like not ceremonial, more like in a kind of tribal way. It's kind of hard to explain, but more like they're fashionable rather than traditional, if that makes sense. And she seems to be waiting for you guys at the entrance as you guys kind of start to position yourself in based on Grimma and Alcarab's navigational skills here. So all right, I'm going to take us in the dock. Is everybody is that we're all okay with that? We're all signed on.
I feel like Zin's probably outnumbered here, so he's gonna. I mean.
All right, I'll take that as a yes. And he's going to start kind of setting you guys in. And you slow down as you kind of get within the docking area for the village. And they're gonna start helping you guys kind of tie up as people are all a little bit nervous and tentative on that. You're within the dome now, Atham. You can feel that this place is alive with psychic energy. It doesn't feel hostile, and it doesn't feel like there's an illusion going on. And there's quite a lot of people here, active and pretty well trained, from what you were able to understand. Do you guys get off the boat?
Yeah, I'll leave off the boat.
Yeah, when we're close enough to the dock and there's the lady standing there, I want to ask, where exactly are we? Like, where is this place? Sort of thing.
Excuse me, but I don't take kindly to guests who don't know manners, and uninvited at that much. So if you want to stay guests, firstly, I'd like you all to introduce yourselves and state your purpose. Then, if I like the answers, then I will be more than obliged to tell you our purpose and place. I can tell that at least you have one gifted amongst you, so I understand that there might be some reasons for you to come here, but I will say that our city, if you want to be generous about it, is not usually used to open-minded visitors. So you'll excuse me if I have to be a bit curt until I am able to assess.
I'm going to open a psionic link to the lady. We're dignitaries traveling to the conference nearby. We've been stopping off at a couple islands on the way.
She doesn't even blink at this. She's kind of able to assess this quickly. She's like, well, she's going to respond back in telepathy. She's like, obviously, you've got quite the skill with your talents, and I can see that you're far older than your appearance would let on. Interesting. She's going to switch back to speaking. If you wouldn't mind, though, I would appreciate if we kept everything out in the open. Not everyone here is trained in telepathy yet, and I would like to be open and clear with the parties involved.
Yet.
Right.
I thought you were one of few.
Seeing as these are the first ones we've kind of run across, I think that still follows.
Still suspicious.
Right.
So your name's Atham, and you're all dignitaries. Is that what I'm led to believe?
On the way to the conference. Well, Al-Karab here is just along for the vibes.
I'm on for the ride. Yeah.
Well, you are starting.
I'm standing there smiling he's like, yeah, I'm just here for fun time, chilling, and all this tension. He's just like, yeah. Vibes. Anyways, Sin doesn't like this.
I wanted to get that one in before I forgot. So
this lady.
It's like, all right, so we've got a stargazer, say apparently gifted dignitary, Atham and Al-Karab. What's your name?
Sin's gonna. He's a little annoyed because she was like, actually, wow, no proper greeting, and he's like, well, this bitch should give me the proper greeting. He's a little. She was being all fussy about it.
Zin, I think this is a good chance to practice your diplomatic tact for the conference.
God damn it, Atham.
Am I wrong?
He's got a good point there, actually.
I'm gonna glare at him, then clear my throat. I'm Zin, one of the 7 holy Asimars of the Church of Purity, Paladin of the Illuminated Heart. Yeah.
You can see that her face kind of there's a second of processing, and then it contorts, and just it's like a recognition. It's not Atham. You don't detect any sort of bloodlust, but no need to go ultra instinct here. But you do detect that there is a bit of hostility in her mental
animosity, perhaps.
A certain depth of that, yes. And you hear her go, "You're Zin."
Oh.
The Zin?
Not that isolated, then, I suppose.
Yes.
I would have thought you would have been taller.
I'm perfectly.
More handsome at that, too, considering all things considered that I've heard.
He's gonna,
I believe diplomacy goes both ways.
I don't even...
I think you misunderstand. I'm not here to be diplomatic, although I do admit I don't mean to offend you two. Him, however, is a special case.
You have a lot of audacity talking like that, man.
I don't think... It's not audacity, it's knowledge. I know more about you than you'd like to think, I'm sure.
Wow, never met such a big fan.
Oh, you think I'm not speaking to you, Zin, as a person of admiration for the church or animosity. I don't care that you're an Azamar. And in fact, I didn't
Care
know
enough
you
to
were.
insult me, though.
Adam's gonna step off the boat. This petty animosity will stop for now until we found evidence of an explosion on a nearby island, and it involves psionics. I want to know if either you had anything to do with that or know anything about it. Many lives were lost in the resulting conflict.
It involves psionics. You're telling us this now, huh?
I was gonna just turn around and splash a little grin at Zin. Yes, I am.
So these must be the perpetrators. Who else would it be?
I don't see any black and red armor, do you?
I see
Enough.
red.
Enough.
Oh, enough now! Good!
Ah!
Let's get to the subject.
No, we're getting to what I want to get to. You'll hold on for a moment. I have business with your friend here. And in fact, he has business with my nephew.
Yeah, huh?
Oh.
Yes. I'm not talking to you
Oh.
as a fan of the church or somebody against them. I'm talking to you as somebody who's had to listen to you about you and read about you in letters from my nephew for years upon years upon years.
I never realized his aunt. Oh, fascinating. I should have guessed the blonde hair.
Oh god.
Yes, you should have.
It doesn't
My name
register
for-
until she's
Says that, yeah. For
yeah.
diplomacy's sake, it will go both ways. And I know I'm being a bit out of turn here, but you'll forgive me if I don't have an emotional reaction upon meeting my nephew's boyfriend in such circumstances. My name is Sylvia Goldplume, and I didn't expect for you to wash up on my island, if you kind of call it that, like this.
Right. Should I wait on the boat?
No, we've gotten to the heart of
This
the matter.
face is gonna just turn even paler than he already is.
Even then, you can start seeing his veins and shit.
He's see through. He's invisible.
She's gonna be like, "Yes,
I
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead first.
Yeah, he's just a sense of embarrassment, but also he can't really say it because she's mean to him, but also, god damn it.
Yeah, she didn't take no shit. She didn't take no shit. She's like, yes, you're right in the sense that we should get down to business. I hope you'll excuse the fact that I had a bit of an emotional outburst, but I'm sure you know that my family's been through a bit of internal turmoil in the last few days, which has set me, I will admit, a bit on the agitated side. But what you said is serious, and I will put my feelings away for the moment so that we may converse. I apologize for my rudeness earlier.
Since doesn't really know what to make of this, because I feel like did Zin find out that he had to contact his Cyril Zan, or was that just
Atham told you after the dream, I believe. I'm pretty sure Atham did.
I think I got a chance. Did I?
I don't think we did it. We didn't do it. I don't think we did it in character, but we did mention that it was. I think it was said at one point, that Atham.
Sure.
I mean, you guys both knew out of character, in character. I think we had said that we were going to talk about it at some point. We might not just have done it in character. Either way, so all right. For the moment, let's come inside and we can discuss. For the moment, I'm sure if you're trying to get to the conference, you can. You'll want to be quick. Also, is that a skeleton? Captain Grima is going to be like, yes. Hi. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself earlier. Diplomacy and all. I be Captain Grima. I man the ship. And I'm thinking about death. If you got any advice on that, I am all ear sockets. I think now is the proper term.
I think skulls have ears.
Ear holes? Is that what you'd say? I'm not a biologist. No? Anyone?
Me neither. Um,
Athen, what would you say?
I think it's an expression, so it doesn't matter.
Fair enough. Everybody, so I'm guessing he's gonna be like. Also, Al-Karab, I mean, you can mention that you've still got like a day or two before the stars are going to align, where the island's going to be. So it's not like you guys are dying on time right now.
Yeah, but delays should be. I'd rather get there early than get there late.
God damn you all being such.
well, now I'm more interested because this is the gold plume bitch. And
Whoa.
well,
No
because
misogyny
in
here.
the sense
No.
for Zin, no, in the sense that Zin is beefing with the gold plumes and has been wanting to, after all that, like he's just kind of now this is something of interest. Like, what the heck is this place? Why is Virgil's just so mean to him?
Listen, all right, I understand why you're interested, you twink addicted person, but I will just say,
I
what?
know he's not here, but I don't know why.
No, don't you talk back to me. Listen, I will. You're strike one of misogyny. All right, I know you have a history of it. So, but I'm going to ask you to watch out before you go on a slippery slope here. Will knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're going to move forward. He's told me about how he's had to deal with it in the other games, but not this game. All right, it's a new sheriff in town. We're gonna have you guys go inside, and we'll express our emotions there. She leads you into a place that's like kind of like a little tiki bar area. We'll say, he's like, "Does anybody like any refreshments? We can sit down and talk. We don't have exactly a official meeting room, so this will have to do as good as any."
Well,
Ab's gonna take a seat.
I'll do it. So I'll do that after they do it. But I also want to be like, well, we told you our names, so where are we exactly?
She's gonna start pouring herself a drink. She's gonna look over at Atham and Al-Karab and say, "Would you guys like a drink? I'll explain the story after I fix myself something briefly." She starts mixing up what looks to be kind of like a Mai Tai style drink.
No, I'll be all right.
Okay.
That should
Fair
be
enough.
fine, thank you.
All right. Well, I offered. She pours herself in and takes a sip. For the moment, we are safe. We are in a safe place for those of us who are gifted, you could say. I won't bore you with my life story at the moment since you seem to be in a rush, but basically, we refer to this as, well, its nickname is the Lotus, is what we call it, this island. Floating island. We don't trust really staying in any physical place, one place that's just not moving. We could try and find some of the magical ones, but psionics and magic don't really work that well together. So we built this, and we've had a few people who maintain the barrier to keep out prying eyes, and for the most part, it works. We move from place to place. We get supplies occasionally, and we are able to keep people safe. What this place is somewhere that those of us with abilities like ours, she starts mixing another drink with her telekinesis, moving it about with her finger, pointed at it without touching it, where we can be free to use our abilities without having to worry about others freaking out or persecuting us, hurting anyone, and being able to teach each other safely, to understand our abilities, to make sure that we don't draw those that would use our powers for their own gain, or those beasts on the other side of the, I guess, well, the veil of reality that would feast on whatever is left of us after we mess up and, as you were saying earlier, explode. But this news you've brought to me troubles me. You said that somebody detonated somebody with psionics on another island and completely destroyed a place?
that's the brief summary. Yes, it involved an unknown fungus, which we have not identified. The process is not entirely clear either.
Hmm.
It's also not clear if it's just all psionics or if this was a unique psion.
Yes, well, I'm also interested to hear your story. I can't tell exactly everything about you, but from what I can see is that you're probably one of the most powerful that we've ever seen here, and older again than your appearance lets on, but I will respect your boundaries. The thing about the psychers around here right now that we've found is that our barrier at least helps people control their abilities while we train them. There have been more and more incidents from that we've seen and from our scrying council that has happened in at least the last month, of psionics going crazy and people being hurt, being attracting beasts that will summon into their houses, their towns, whatever you want to say, and will attack them and others, trying to feast. Specifically with after the attack in Ravonia, it seems to have gotten worse. We don't exactly know why. Explosions, though, that seems a bit. How you said that this took out an entire cove?
Yes. Flattened most of a town.
That even that though seems a bit out of the ordinary. There definitely has been a surge in psionic power, but
It was definitely triggered by outside forces, not by just a psionic mishap.
well, that would make sense then. In terms of that, I will say that we've had a few those incidents that I mentioned where psionics have started to go haywire around, all over the Tiersea, have also been what in the ocean itself, the Great Basin Ocean. There's been more aberrations appearing just to attack us, and they seem to be attracted to psychers, and psionic use specifically. Also, we have noted, which, well, have you ever met an organization that has looks to be a torch or some kind of grate on fire with an eye in the center of it?
Yes, I have. The Minervans, right?
We believe that's what they're called, although we have trouble getting information or scrying on them. They seem to have a lot of defenses against such abilities, I guess you could say. There have been more reports of their boats around, and we've been had to move twice suddenly because of their ships patrolling. They seem to be much more active since the seals were starting to become undone last month.
If you're on the run, I could speak to me later. We can organize something to provide better security for you.
That would be welcome. I would think that we could use someone like that or all of your talents. Although I have to say that she looks over at Zin, speaking now as somebody from my position to somebody of the church. I'm surprised to see you with somebody like this, given their usual doctrine on us.
Sometimes things just happen. And
Killing demons is a powerful motivator.
yeah, I hate
Well,
demons.
Well, when you say things just happen, you can see that a bottle behind her cracks and explodes as she has a bit of a vein pop out on her head. She's like, "Yes, things do happen," but we'll get to that later.
When
For the-
I
Sorry, go ahead.
just he's so rude about it. I mean, the point is that
I am a little shocked that Cyril knew so little about psionics.
Well, there's my story as a gifted user of psionics and a story of me as a gold plume. And generally, I try and keep those two lives separate for the most part.
And how
I
does your,
Sorry, go ahead.
then how does your family not, take you back or something? Do they not? Do they know you're doing this? Is my question.
No. Forbid whatever's up there. Forbid they know this ever. I don't trust
How
my
you getting
brother as
away
far
with
as I can throw him with my gifts.
Yeah, he's a little piece of garbage.
You can call him a bitch. I call him a bitch all the time. I did since we were kids. It's fine.
He's a bitch!
There you go.
Tim swears.
Mm.
Let him swear!
Let him swear.
Is that the first canonical Zin swear?
I think it is.
It might be,
My.
yeah.
It might be. I don't think he's.
Unless you said something to the demon.
I think I would have sworn, but I can't remember which one is like if I've canonically as in sworn before.
So so the question. Oh, Cyril. Well, I didn't exactly discover my powers until when he was at least going off to the monastery to train. And at that point, I didn't think it would be wise to explain to him too much in depth in letters that would be read and censored by the church at best. So for the most part, I just let him live his life, and I thought that if there was one thing that he wanted, it was to be free of any sort of interference. Telling him about this would just burden him more than he needed. He already takes too many on himself.
Right.
Which we'll talk about him more later. For the moment, I'll try and keep it professional so we can focus on what's important.
Well, if you haven't sighted any more, any of the vessels recently, they were acting in this area. How far away was the island that we hit last?
I mean, like they would have. We'll say that it was a. You were able to read on a destroyed sign that it was, a pirate cove called Zarka.
Okay.
And they'll say, if you mention that to her, she'll say, "Yes, we were just supplying from them a couple weeks ago, I think." It's completely wiped out then.
It only makes it more likely that it's the Minervans at work again.
Well, the Minervans are not, as far as we can tell, they're not some kind of, and no offense, religious cult. As far as I can tell, they're usually quite precise and surgical almost. They don't just go in and start murdering people en masse without.
Be so much more easy to deal with if they did. Yeah. No, they're a bit more clever about that.
They what?
Wouldn't they have hired?
No, because Shin wouldn't trust anyone to be hired like that unless it was for, especially if he was testing out a weapon like that. No, I don't think, especially given that so much evidence was left behind. If it was the Minervans, they would do a better job cleaning it up.
Evidence? What evidence?
Of the explosion. The body, etc.
Was there anything else left?
The fungus I mentioned, the bodies, the body of the Scion.
There's the shack.
Shack.
Then Alcarab gets.
Oh yeah, no.
Didn't Alcarab find a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, he did. He did find a bunch of stuff in the
warehouse.
That would be funny, by the way. The Zin bitch counter, like the Krillin own counter, Cameron. You could start putting that into the editing.
To see what my editing abilities can do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's possible. Adding a counter.
Let's create an entire PNG of it. We'll see. I might be able to do that. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Zin, say bitch now. We'll see if I add it.
Zin's not saying it. I'll say bitch though.
There we go. All right. There we go. Test run of the feature.
Bitch.
Yeah. For the bitch.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Oh, I see. Yeah, that'd be a good soundbite. We should add that to I should make a soundboard for
Everyone can make their own soundboards. I think it's the emoji server setting. I think. Yeah,
All right, that'd be
soundboard.
good.
Yeah, we can all upload soundboards. So, all right, something to consider.
Anyways.
All right. Yeah,
Yes,
anyways,
but anyway,
This is me.
she's going to say, well, it's entirely possible that if it was a fungus or a biological weapon, it could have just either fallen in their hands or maybe they gave it to start widespreading, especially if they're starting to make a move. I mean, plenty of things seem to be erupting now, so it could be that they're throwing off any sort of guise of subterfuge for just going all out and trying to make as much happen as possible.
There's only a small amount of fungus, was there not?
Well, most of it probably would have been consumed by the blast itself, right? Its fungus is not exactly.
Wasn't it demonic in nature, or what?
I mean, yeah, but it's still a fungus. It's an explosion that size is going to kill most things.
I'm
Demon
just saying,
or
like,
no.
it's not like a. I don't know.
Well, regardless, it seemed like some kind of test of this, given that it was on a fairly remote location that no one would be traveling to for a few weeks. So that doesn't give us much to go off of.
Besides the fact that they were supplying to this covenant of scions, so.
Well, what do you think, Alcarab? You've been awfully quiet.
About the... I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's, I don't know, it's weird. I don't have any thoughts that haven't already been expressed.
Well, fair enough. As you guys are kind of debating, you hear as a kind of horn sounds outside. Oh no.
Please tell me that's like the dinner horn or something.
What is that?
No, we just all tell each other telepathically. That was real. That's not good. And she starts running out to the docks again.
Is there a telepathic message being broadcasted?
There's one: return to your stations, return to your homes. Anyone grade A or above, report to docks for fighting capabilities.
Putting eggs on the docks?
Where's our poor bow?
Hey, it's Scion grading. Let's get to the docks.
You guys get out to see what looks to be a massive red ship surfacing from the water. It's kind of like a ship mixed with a submarine. And
all right,
it is over the side jumps a giant in red and black armor. That seems to be, he takes off his helmet and he's a giant orc with a large axe in his hand. Well, looks what we got here. We don't want any trouble with you. We don't have any riches for you to steal. We want you gone off of our village now. It's like, oh, but we haven't had a good fight yet.
I'll fight him.
That's the spirit, he says as he points an axe at Yuzin. It's going to be like,
I'll fight you, but you better leave the people alone.
Oh, well, that wouldn't be any fun. Me and my crew have got to get a workout in.
As he's talking, I'm going to perceive the unseen and see if I want to see all the life signatures around. See if anyone's trying to sneak up from under the water or anything the like.
You do notice that there are a bunch of orcs in armor climbing under the docks right now using ropes with knives in their mouths to kind of go under the docks. It seems like Zin, what do you want to do real quick?
Oh, I want to keep goading him because I want to see if I can convince him to just like fight a handful of us instead of raiding the entire village. Because like I'm a pretty cool person. Everyone would want to have a fight with me if they could. This is a rare opportunity.
That one's mine, boys. He's gonna say, "Oh, wait a minute. I know you. You were a little less glowy last time we saw you, though.
That just means I've gotten stronger.
Oh, he's not pointing at you.
Ooh,
He's pointing at Atham.
fuck!
I don't remember this. All right, I'm gonna run over to the dock and I'm gonna fire a blast of psionic energy down at the orcs climbing.
And that's where we're going to leave off.
No, I want to beat him up.
I'm blasting,
too bad.
I'm blasting the climbing orcs. He'll get the big guy later.
Um,
I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume I don't remember this guy.
oh, I don't know who looks like you, but is less glowy.
I mean, that's like he is glowy, but like of a different, more sinister,
Yeah, he looked
kind.
more dusky last time. I would not call him glowy, boss. Yeah, dusky. That's the right word for it. Like glowy in reverse.
Oh god.
His jaw isn't quite as strong as mine. I will say that.
Yeah, I think this one's that guy's boss. He's the bigger one.
He's a little bitch. All right. Well,
So
good place then.
that is where we're going to end off for tonight. That was 2.5-ish hours, so no complaining. Half of that, a half hour of that was the boat RP, which I know is everybody's favorite. Let me get rid of Craig here for a second.
Bye, Craig.
Hi, Craig.